So it's been a while since I've done one of these, and I've been trying to get round to it and doing it in a constructive manner, and also bringing in some cinematic stuff to the fold, and it will eventually be coming hopefully in the next few weeks. But today, we're discussing something a bit different, and this is a man who is probably the most decorated US soldier in World War I history, and managed to pull off what is arguably one of the most incredible offensive maneuvers from the war, and that is of course Alvin C. York. Now, his full name is Alvin Cullum York, and he was born in December 13th, 1887, and passed away in September 2nd, 1964, and served in both World War I and as an advisor in World War II. But what Alvin C. York is most famous for is one of the offensives in World War I that he took part in. He was drafted into World War I and claimed that he had a religious and objective status to the war and felt as though he needed to do his part for his country. Previously, Alvin was involved in some violence as well as alcohol drinking, and after 1914 he experienced a conversion and vowed to change his behaviour and became devoted to the faith of the Church of the Christian Union. In October 1918, the newly promoted Corporal York was one of 17 soldiers assigned to infiltrate a German line which had a German machine gun position, as well as a large number of soldiers. They were unaware of just how many people they would confront. There was only 17 of them available at the time, with no artillery and no backup in any form or capacity, so they were eventually walking into the dark with not a real good idea of what was going on. After the American patrol had captured a group of German soldiers, German small arms fire killed 6 Americans and wounded 3 more, and York was the only highest ranked officer available to lead any kind of fight. To put it pretty frankly, he was probably one of the few soldiers available or left on the field. Bearing in mind, this group of 17 had already been cut down to about 5 or 6, but York was the commanding officer, and it was his role to go in first. Whilst the remaining men he had guarded the prisoners, York by himself attacked the German machine gun position, knowing how crucial it was to advancing beyond this line. Now, he dispatched several soldiers with his rifle by himself, taking out all 7 of them relatively swiftly. But by the time 6 Germans had charged at York with fixed bayonets, his rifle was out of ammunition. He ended up drawing his pistol and then taking out 6 more. So, all in all, he had taken out 13 soldiers before he had even completely got into the machine gun position. The German officer who was responsible for the machine gun position had emptied his pistol whilst firing at York, but did not hit him, and the German officer then considered to surrender. York accepted, and York and his men marched back to his unit. But what makes this story really incredible is just how many people York had taken back on this march home. With a grand total of about 5 to 6 men available, including himself, their unit had managed to take 130 German prisoners of war from the machine gun position, completely busting a hole in the defensive line, and all in all, pretty much making a huge push for the United States Army in World War I. York was immediately promoted to sergeant after this and given a Distinguished Service Cross, and a later investigation led to this being awarded as a Medal of Honor, one of the highest possible awards a soldier can receive. Now, after the war, York became a national hero in the United States and an international celebrity. He went on to receive awards and decorations from foreign countries, including France, Italy, and Montenegro. Local businessmen also offered to give him money and profit from the war situation, but due to his own sort of personal stance, he did not want to profiteer from what was, he felt, a very hard-fought war. He ended up being part of a charitable foundation that aimed to improve educational opportunities for children in Tennessee in the 1930s and 1940s, and he also worked as a project superintendent for the Civilian Conservation Corps, which managed the construction of lakes and reservoirs, as well as some of the stuff you see today at Cumberland Mountain State Park, and he served there for several years as superintendent of that park. York did attempt to rejoin the military for World War II, but health problems rendered him unfit for active service. Instead, he received a commission as a major in the Army and a colonel in the Tennessee State Guard, and took part in public relations campaigns to boost soldier morale, sell war bonds, and similar activities. There was some suspicion as to whether or not York had actually done what had been said, but his own personal accounts, along with the accounts of the fellow soldiers that fought alongside him, verified what had actually happened. And it's incredible to think that a soldier, a single soldier, could have made such a huge difference in a war, taking out 17 different soldiers and capturing 130 pretty much by himself is an amazing achievement. And I know it sounds pretty grim to say it's an amazing achievement in the context of war and death and despair, but bearing in mind the situation they were in, that's something to be proud of. It's a huge push in what was a difficult time for the United States Army when they first joined into World War I, and they faced some pretty immense odds and went up against them. And I feel like it's stories like these that I'm going to try and bring you guys more of, because it's really awesome to see how even in some of the most dark and dire of situations, people can still somehow pull off the incredible. And again, contextually it does sound a bit grim, but I think we can all appreciate the service that this guy did in World War I for his country and of course the Allied forces. So guys, let me know what you think about this story. What do you think of Alvin C. York, and of course, do you have any stories of your own that you want to share? Maybe perhaps of a relative, or perhaps one that you've read up on over the time of World War I. Let me know, put them down in the comments section below, and I will of course look into them. It's been me, the Tactical Brit. As always, thank you for watching.